Hi, this is Alexander Marquez with another powerful video that's going to help take your life and your business to the next level. And today I want to share with you powerful persuasion techniques that you must understand or they might be used against you. Also, it helps to understand them because it helps us to understand human nature. But before I get started with these powerful techniques used by people that want to manipulate others, I want to start off with a quote from Buddha. And this quote is, "Words have the power to both destroy and heal. When words are both true and kind, they can change our world." Yes, words are very powerful. It is essential that we understand that what we say has an effect on others. So we can use our words to uplift people, or we can use them to tear others down. I like to believe that it is more profitable to use our words in a very positive manner, in a manner that uplifts others. So I want to invite you to pay attention to the words that come out of your mouth, and I would recommend that you focus on making those words more positive. That way we can create a more positive and more successful world. So the first technique I want to cover is the law of reciprocity. So what happens here is, for example, in sales or in any kind of a human interaction, someone will give you something. I don't know what that would be exactly, but someone will give you something and they make you believe that they're giving you this because they are being nice to you, because they like you. When in reality, they are simply giving you something of value. So in preparation, so that next time when they need your help, it will be very difficult for you to turn them down. So it is a very useful technique used by many manipulators. So how do you determine who actually is giving you something genuine and when they're just giving you something to get something in return? This is something that's you're just going to have to use your mind, study the situation, and ask yourself whether this individual is trying to get something back from you. And if your gut tells you that that's the case, then you don't have to feel obligated to accept what they're offering you. So you have to be very disciplined when it comes to this. The second law is the law of scarcity. This technique is used very commonly in marketing. They make you believe that something is a product is there's only so many left. It's going to run out, so you better take action now. So they tapped into your scarcity, into the scarcity mechanism within your mind. Or they might tell you that something is only available for a limited amount of time. Or that, so it's all about attacking our psyche. So in order to avoid falling victim to this, you must conduct proper research. You must see through the lies. You must see through the fog of these deceptive marketers, because most of the time it's not really true that it's only available for a limited time, that they only have a limited supply. It's simply a tactic just to control people, and we just simply have to be aware of this technique. The next one is social proof. You know, we live in a social media world, so people are very pressured to want to obtain something that is perceived to be popular. This is why sites like Amazon, they have the reviews, because most people want to get a product that has a high review. Or a film you're watching, Rotten Tomatoes, for example. If it has a high grade, then you would assume that it's something of value. For example, in Rotten Tomatoes, sometimes you'll see the critics give it 90%. But then it's not congruent with the audience score, because let's say you'll see the audience score, it'll be 60%. So you have to realize, like, the way I see it is there has to be a balance. If you're going to have the critic give it 90%, then you would expect the audience to be somewhere around close to. So if they're close to each other, then I kind of trust it. But if, let's say, the critics give it 10%, but the audience gives it 90%, then something's fishy. Also, in the law of social proof, this is why a lot of companies will tell you how many Facebook likes they have. Because they want to seem important. So in the era of social media, this is very effective. So you just have to discipline yourself to have an independent mind. Just not go for what is perceived to be popular. Actually do research and see if what is popular is actually what's the best. So being independent is always the answer. Law number 4 is liking. This is when manipulators, let's say, they'll try to sell you a product using celebrities, or they'll try to get you to vote for a candidate because they get celebrities to support that candidate because you might like that celebrity. Most people are smart enough to not fall for that, but it is often used to, or maybe they'll give you a lot of compliments that are not genuine. So they're just trying to get you to like them so that to manipulate you, to control you, to get that product to just do what they want you to do. So the key is to not just get distracted by the pretty face that's trying to sell you something, or by someone that's trying to give you excessive compliments. You must see through that and make your own independent choices. Law number 5 is the law of authority. This is when, for example, when there's some kind of debate, people go to this law. Let's say a professor's having a debate with someone that's not a professor. But if you use your independent mind, the person that's not a professor is actually making a better point. They're actually making more sense in the debate. But then all of a sudden, the professor will throw out his credentials to distract you from the fact that he's actually wrong on this issue. So regardless of how many degrees someone has, right is right and wrong is wrong. But a lot of manipulators will try to throw in your face the fact that they might have more education, the fact that they have more degrees, to try to manipulate you into thinking that they have to be correct. But that's not always the case. That's why we always have to be independent-minded, regardless of what it seems like, how knowledgeable someone seems. We have to look at the specific debate, the specific scenario that's taking place, and use our critical thinking to actually reach a correct conclusion, and not just base it just because some supposed expert with a lot of degrees says it is correct. It's not necessarily the case. Once again, this goes back to just simply being an independent-minded individual. Law number 6 is commitment and consistency. This is when people, for example, politicians will made some kind of statement 10 years ago. But maybe, we evolve, we're human beings. Maybe after 10 years, that politician changed their mind. Maybe they gather more information and now they reach a correct conclusion. But let's say the media will bring that comment back. And so we live in this society where, for example, on social media, you made a comment when you were 15 and now you're in your 30s and you're trying to do something significant in this world. But they'll dig out that comment you made when you were 15. Not realizing that we simply evolve. We're not perfect. We can gather more information, we get more wiser, and we change our minds. Or salespeople will try to get you to commit, especially they'll try to get witnesses. For example, a salesperson will sit with the husband and wife and will get a commitment from the husband, and there's a pressure there because since the wife is watching him, now that it creates pressure. But the key to not falling victim to this technique is to understand that just because you made a commitment and you said you were going to do something, But then you get more information and you realize that what you were about to do was wrong. You should never feel pressures to go through with it. The same thing with, being consistent. We all can evolve. If you get more knowledge, do what's correct. And don't fall victim to the pressure just because you said something in front of other people and they're going to call you out on it. You can change your mind. It's okay. I learned that integrity is not keeping your word. It's honoring your word. So as long as you honor your word, it's, for example, if you tell someone you're going to be there at 7 p.m., but then something came up, an emergency came up. Integrity is not that you have to keep your word 7 p.m. Integrity would be you would let that person know that there's been a change in circumstances. So again, don't fall victim to the pressure of commitment and consistency. Be your own mind. Take your own smart choices. Make your own smart choices. And the last one is units and the community effect. This is often used in cults where people are afraid to speak out because the leader has brainwashed all the individuals in the cult. So now you have the pressure of the groupthink scenario where you're afraid to speak out because all the members in his cult are going to call you out. This is what happens in politics nowadays. You might be a Democrat, but you want to speak out in something that you don't see right within your party. A lot of people don't have the bravery to do so because then they're going to get heavily criticized by it's basically the same cult and group thinking mentality. Avoid group thinking. Be an individual. Forget about the collective. Sometimes you have to be an individual and simply have your own mind. This is also used by authoritarian governments who convince the population to literally become a secret police for them. So they're spying on their neighbors for the dictator. It creates this secret police where everyone is afraid to speak out because the neighbor might be listening and they might report you to the dictator. This is what happens with the community effect. So again, the key is to be independent minded, to not groupthink, to think for yourself. This is how you avoid all these manipulation techniques. So if you're aware of this, the key is awareness. If you are aware that this is happening, you can defeat it and you don't have to get manipulated by these manipulators. So I hope this was helpful. This is persuasion. We have to be careful that this is not being done to us by the media, by salespeople, by our friends, by our family. Anyone could be using these manipulation techniques on us, and we simply must be alert so that we don't fall a victim to these techniques. This is Alexander Marquez. Visit my website, maximumadvancement.com, and I'll see you on my next video. Take care.